Morning. We'll call the meeting to order. We do have a few regrets this morning from a few members. I know Dave is on vacation. Mr. Zafman is slowly getting back to life as he knew it, which is nice, but he won't be joining us today, and Linda will be a little bit late. She did indicate that. Before we get started, I've got a notice that I will read. So board members, staff, guests, and members of the public are reminded that the full authority board and committee meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the authority's website along with the official written minutes. As such, comments and opinions expressed may be published, and any comments expressed by individual board members, guests, and the general public are their own. I do not represent the opinions or comments of the full authority and or the Kettle Creek Conservation Area Board of Directors. The recorded video of the full authority meeting is not considered the official record of the meeting. The official record of the full authority meeting shall consist solely of the minutes approved by the full authority board of directors. And we are up and running and recording, so just to let you all know. Smile. So first item on our agenda is introductions, declarations of pecuniary interest. Does anybody have any declarations this morning? Seeing none. Move to our minutes from our January 18th full authority meeting. I get a mover and seconder on the minutes. Moved by Max.
Question.
Okay. Yep, let's get them on the floor and then we'll do that. Second by Steve. Go ahead, Max.
Okay, on page 7 of the agenda package, number 9, new business, audio and video recording of meetings policy. I think there's a misprint there. It says that the motion by Marcel Meyer, seconded by Stephen Harvey and carried. Goes on to read the amendment from Mr. Marr. I think that should be Mr. Meyer.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Good. Thank you.
Good eye. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't even say that.
Any other questions or comments on the minutes? Seeing none, so as corrected, on motion, all in favor? That's carried unanimously. Next, we've got matters arising. So our 2017 nominating committee report is there. That's an updated one with names in place for all the committees. So that was for information. And then our board of directors contact information is there as well for information of the board members. Is there any errors or omissions on that? Seeing none. Okay. And those are information pieces.
Just one small.
Yep.
On mine, you have, it's P.O. Box 157, and 157 is on the wrong line, so it's not 157 Overton.
Oh, yep.
Anyways, it's not, I wasn't going to say anything.
If somebody's trying to send you mail, it'll make a difference.
Well, absolutely.
I think we figured it out.
All right. With that, we will move to our next item, which is the Ontario 150 funding. Elizabeth?
Madam Chair, the one notice was in the advance package, so notice that the authority was successful in their application for $6,900 to assist in hosting a public day of the Water Festival. This will be held in conjunction with all the other Canada festivities at Pinafore Park, so that was great news. As well, we received notice that another application that we had submitted for Ontario 150 funding was also approved, and that was for $20,250 to support the Lake Erie Student Workshop Initiative. So staff will get busy right away in terms of fulfilling the requirements of those two proposals.
That's great. Good news. It's always nice to receive money.
Mm-hmm.
Next item, correspondence. Correspondence.
Madam Chair, I don't have any official correspondence. I am collecting information from our neighboring authorities in terms of when their AGMs are, and I'll forward those out to members, and if anyone can attend, that would be appreciated.
All right. December 2016 Statement of Revenues and Expenditures, or audited statements. So we've got our first of all, our 2016 year-end transfers, and as well the financial statements. So kind of all of our financial stuff all at once here. So questions or comments for Kathleen? Great. Do we want to do the statements first, and then do we want to do them all at once? What would you like? What's the easiest way to approach all of these?
So The December 2016 internal statements start on page 14. Those are what the audit is basically based on. And you can see on page 27 is basically the journal entry of all the transfers to and from reserves that were completed to bring your statements up to date as displayed. So you can see the positive year-end position of 153,000, and then where that was distributed out to the reserves, mainly the wage subsidy reserve, the stewardship reserve, and the infrastructure reserve, and the legal reserve, as per earlier reports to the board members. Basically what that does is you can see on your reserve report, which was included on page 76 of the advanced packages, you can see what the transfers to and from reserves and how they've impacted your reserves for 2016. So in general, the only required drawdown on reserve was from the Carolinian Forest Festival of $1,000. But that reserve remains in good standing. The surplus from the campgrounds, basically all being booked over to the infrastructure reserves to help lessen the impact of the drawdown that was required to undertake our infrastructure investment this year. And again, in the end of 2016, you're in great standing to undertake the projected capital expenditures over the next, certainly for 2017, and looking good for the 5-year plan. The statements, the draft audited financial statements begin on 28 of the advanced packages. Again, just my personal thanks to Kathleen for the work that went into getting these statements to you in your advanced packages and on time. It's no small feat for her and our auditors at the same time. My understanding is that there will be no correcting entries as a result of the audit, so I'm expecting a clean audit report again to Kathleen's benefit. So again, Kathleen and I are certainly willing to entertain either statements on the internal statements or the draft audited statements. We're not seeking approval on the audited statements today. That comes at your annual meeting. But the purpose of this meeting is certainly to entertain questions. And either staff can answer those or we can get those back to the auditor prior to approval in basically 2 weeks.
Okay. Questions or comments? Marcel?
So on page 25, just a simple, the result is the same, but I'm not sure why we would put it this way. With vehicle operations, we've transferred in budget 61,900, and we do the same in actual. But then down below in expenditures, we transfer to reserve $7,544. Why would we just not transfer less in the first place from reserve?
Sorry.
Through Ms. Chair, I just wanted to say that the transfer to vehicle reserves is an interdepartmental transfer. So the other departments support the vehicle, like they get benefit from vehicles. So we then do an interdepartmental transfer for that. Whereas the transfer to reserve is basically the year-end transfer that goes from the department that's in a positive position to the reserve.
So, through you, Madam Chair, what I guess I'm missing is, where did the funds come from in the first place?
The funds come from the other departments.
The 69,000, oh, okay.
The
Sorry.
61.9, they support the vehicle operations because each department gets benefit from vehicle operations.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Other questions? Phil?
Just on page 37, just for my own, I was looking at the amortization over all the different things on that page. And septic systems, the 40 years, I thought that was optimistic, but then that's the campground, so they're only open 5 months a year, right? When they look at the septics, they're amortized over 40
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Madam Chair, that would be all our septic systems, but the majority of our septic systems are at the campground.
So they're only used 5 months a year, so we're getting kind of, yeah. And the other one is signs, fencing and gates. Would that be the gates for the parks? And the signs at the parks, like the big sign for the one over in the corner?
Madam Chair, yeah, that would be all signs can be.
Your first question was rather crap.
Crap, that's great.
Any further questions on either the
Sorry.
the internal statements at December 31st or the draft statements? And then we'll let you get caught up, and before we move on, we're just taking any questions on the internal December 31st statements or the draft financial statements, which would be approved at the annual meeting. Marcel?
So I know that we talked about this at the last board meeting, and I'll just make a comment that I believe to be correct against the rest of the board's thoughts, which is okay. I do think that the reserves should at least be requested to the municipalities that fund us before we automatically put them in reserve. Just a comment.
Okay. Are there any further comments? Do you want the December 31st internal statements approved?
Yes, if we could have a
Okay.
motion to accept the December 26th statement of revenues and expenditures.
Okay. So can I get a mover and seconder on the December 2016 statements? Bill and Ralph? If there's no further questions on those, then all in favor? Those are approved. And then the draft financials we'll deal with at the annual meeting. If there's no further questions on those, then we can move to our next item, which is Spellbound 2017. So we've got a verbal update on Spellbound.
Madam Chair, Spellbound is the now annual fundraising efforts put together by the Kettle Creek Environmental Trust. You remember, it's a spelling bee for adults. You work in a team of 6 to test your skills at spelling. It's not the old-fashioned get in front of the teacher and spell off against one other individual. It is a team environment and quite fun. Last year, the trust was able to get, I believe, 26 teams together. They are planning on hosting another Spellbound this year. Last year, the board was generous and put in 2 teams. A team of 6 is $300. Last year, there was a board member team and a team of staff. And Heather, as chair, now sits on the trust, and we've been asked to request the board's support again this year, either for a team or if you would like 2 teams.
Bill?
I'd like to make a motion to do 2 teams again.
2 teams as well? Yep. Do you have a seconder for that? Max? We can populate the teams at another time. We're not going to put you on the spot, but the date is the 22nd of April, so check your calendars at the next meeting, or send Elizabeth an email. We would be looking to, at least one of those with board members would be wonderful, and then staff on the other, which I think we can accomplish easily. So, and it's a lot of fun. I think they added some music trivia last year, so it's not just spelling, you have to know your music trivia as well, so.
It's tough.
But it's fun, right? All right, so we do have a motion on the floor that we put in 2 teams for Spellbound. There's no further discussion, all in favor? And that's carried. Great. All right, that brings us up to our next item, final draft 2017 budget. So that begins on page 50, I believe. So this would again be up for approval on February 15th at the annual meeting, but we are looking for any final questions or comments from the board so that we can have all that done in advance and prepared to pass the budget. We're prepared to vote on the budget at the annual meeting. Questions or comments on the budget? I know we've seen it a few times. I don't know if there's further questions or comments.
I'll move acceptance.
Actually, we'll do that at the annual meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to make that.
No, we don't need to. We just have the opportunity to have any further questions or comments. Do you have anything to add to this? I think we've been over this a number of times,
I've
but
been over it a number of times. This is this kind of the benefit of going through the 4-year budget process is that we're, this is the second year of a 4-year plan that we are working with. Just in relation to your consideration of the 2017 budget, Kathleen and I have been crunching some numbers from 2016. And just so that you are aware, the authority's fundraising and grants that we received in 2016 are actually up 5%. So just to give you an indication of what the benefits have been to bringing the GIS position on, I think that's reflected in those numbers. But just also this drive amongst staff right now to go out and find other sources of funding. And I hope that our municipalities and the authority will begin to see the benefit of that as we move through the last 2 years of this 4-year plan. At least that's the goal of staff and management, our management that we're working towards. And we'll begin to talk about as we head into finishing up the plan for 2018. So the 2017 budget that went out in the advanced packages, you can see all the numbers against the actuals for 2016 have been put into that. I gave a brief outline of what's happening in each department. One thing that I will change in the final draft for the AGM is if you look on page 52 of 84, it's the admin budget. You'll notice that in terms of travel and expenses for members, the actual was just over 11,000. We have a budget in there of 14. With no objection from the members, I'd be moving basically 2,400 down from that line item to equipment purchase and rental. That is because we've got some final numbers just in the last couple of days on an update that is required for our Sage accounting software in terms of just an update that needs to be done to keep that program operating and up to date. And that's going to roughly run about $2,400 to do that. So in the interest of, I know it's a budget, but in the interest of trying to be as accurate as possible, I'd like to make that movement down to cover off that expense.
Linda?
I have a question just on a totally different, on the reserves. So I know we have additional pressures from some other areas of expenses, those kinds of things. What will be the drawdown, do you think, on reserves, and how are we sort of sitting for backup money should we need it?
Yeah, so if you go to page 76 of the advanced package, where I was pointing to, I kind of outlined what the impact was in 2016 of both the drawdown of the reserve and the push-in, and how that compared to budgeting. So in terms of a drawdown on your operational reserves for 2016, there was no necessary drawdown other than the Carolina Forest Festival, which doesn't impact the authority. The drawdown on the capital reserves was 144,000. That was over budgeted mainly due to the expenses incurred with the Dalewood pool. But because of the outstanding year that we had in the campgrounds, we were able to compensate that push so that you can see the impact to your capital reserves wasn't as great as anticipated. So that's the benefits of having, of making a profit in the campgrounds, is we can offset those expenses. On page 77, what I've done is forecasted what I would perceive as impacts for the 2017 in terms of budgeted. So you can see budgeted transfers to reserves. What my aim is to is to actually budget for transfers to reserves as a result of campground revenue. I am overly cautious on that, with only 11,000 going into infrastructure replacement in 2017. The budgeted transfers from reserves, there's projected to be 12,000 to come over from stewardship, from the stewardship reserve, but that reserve is healthy and can certainly support that. The same with the watershed rehabilitation reserve. That transfer from reserve expected in 2017 is roughly 9,000, mainly to support seasonal wages to get some GIS monitoring done of the tree planting sites. 15,000 is projected to come over from the legal reserve based on projected legal expenses. That reserve currently is sitting at about 27,000. So there's a little bit more room in that reserve. And then the wage subsidy reserve, as you all know, we are relying on to support the GIS position. And as earlier reported to the board, we need to be putting back into that reserve a minimum of about $10,000 to continue to continue on with our 4-year planning to support that position moving ahead.
And to supplemental, so that 10,000 you're suggesting that we should get back in there, where are you seeing us doing that movement?
That would basically, I'm banking on successful, that position successfully getting fees for services over the next year that would replenish that reserve.
Thank you.
Which we've done really well. So
Yes.
Congratulations on that. So I think we've learned how valuable that position is, not just to us, but out in the community as well, which has been nice to see. Further questions from members? Okay, so we will look to approve that in 2 weeks at the annual meeting.
Yes.
Next item then will be our 2017 capital purchases. That's on page 78 in the advance package. So we do have a recommendation. I'm going to ask for a mover and seconder, and then we'll have the discussion on that. If we can get Linda, the seconder, Ian, and that is that subject to approval of the 2017 budget, staff be directed to proceed with the 2017 capital equipment purchases as presented. So questions or comments on this report? Or Joe, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think hopefully the information in the advance report was self-explanatory. Basically, we've gone out for 3 cost estimates. Due to current fleet incentives as well as timelines for installation of the playground, staff would like to finalize those orders immediately following approval of the budget. So we're just seeking for approval of the recommended purchases so that if and when the budget is approved with the inclusions, staff can proceed to finalize those orders.
Linda?
Do you expect any overages? And I know that's really hard to sort of do that, replacement of playground equipment, those kinds of things. Like, are you anticipating and you left yourself a little bit of leeway?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff is recommending that we go with the same company that did the installation for Lake Whitaker last summer. So based on that installation, we're confident that the numbers are actuals. I think there's a little bit of a buffer there of about $1,300 for anything unexpected. But at this time, based on last year's installation, we're not anticipating any.
Thank you.
Any further questions from members? If not, on the motion, all in favor? That's carried unanimously. All right, GIS equipment purchases is our next item. And so we do have a recommendation that staff be authorized to make the necessary equipment purchases associated with the signed 2016 to 2018 transfer payment agreement with OMAFRA. Can I get a mover and seconder on that? We'll have discussion. Steve? And questions or comments on this? Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward, and this is equipment you need to fulfill the contract to do the work, so I think it's pretty straightforward, and I'm not gonna ask what some of the stuff is. I trust I know a little technical stuff, but not that.
I'm just curious, do we see a real potential market for stuff like drones and that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
In
definitely.
what way? Where do you see it?
There's many sectors that are currently using UAVs to collect low altitude aerial photography. Agriculture is one of the major sectors. Using multispectral cameras, you can actually analyze fields, you can analyze growth patterns, any types of diseases that are in the crop. That can be done with this technology. Mining industry is using them extensively just to actually create, to collect volume measurements of what's been taken out of the mine. The list goes on and on and on, but yeah, there's a huge growth in this market.
And do you see us as sort of, obviously we're going in at the base level, so to speak. Do you see additional purchases or additional additions to the equipment coming on?
To the fleet that I'm going to put together, I'm going to use the funding that we have right now to put together a basic fleet. And moving forward, should other funding opportunities present themselves, then yes, definitely, I would
Taking
add to
advantage
it.
of the funding.
Yeah, I would definitely take advantage and add to it, yes. And it would be-
Linda?
Just on the revenue generation, I mean, possibilities, and this would be for your benefit, because I don't think you kind of heard some of the ideas, but what kinds of things do you think you'll be presenting maybe to other conservation areas?
With this equipment, there'll be considerable opportunities for us. We're going to be one of the only conservation authorities in the province that currently have an active UAV surveying operation. And that says something because we are one of the smaller CAs. So there's larger CAs like GRCA that are looking to us now to sort of lead the way on things like this. And I think that's great. And we're working very closely with, especially GRCA, we're working very closely with them on this. And yeah, I think it's exciting.
Well, certainly within a year or two, I'd like to see, the return on our investment, if you will. But,
Yeah.
would you foresee maybe a couple of years that we'd be
I think within this year.
within the year?
Within this year, there'll
Wow.
be something that going towards that. I've already had unofficial interest from some of my colleagues at other CAs that this will be something that will
Do
be.
we have the people power to do that?
Yes.
Marcel, did you?
Yeah, I was just gonna comment to Steve that I don't believe this is really base model
Well,
stuff.
I was not trying, I'm just trying to say we're not buying a Cadillac. We should be buying a Silverado.
Well, and then perhaps I'm wrong, I mean, as a farmer, I have a basic one so that I can, from my truck, actually go out and see the crop without walking through the field. And mine's very basic by comparison to what you're spending. So I would assume that yours is fairly sophisticated and probably will fly in the air a lot longer than mine would.
It's definitely out there, and there's two models I'm currently looking at right now. They'll have a flight time of about maybe 30 minutes, a little bit more depending on what kind of payload is on them. But yeah, it really comes down to camera and software that's being used to process this stuff, and that's where a lot of this investment is going into as well, and the GPS system. There's many people that might fly these things and collect the imagery and use the GPS to sort of georeference the images, but we're using a centimeter level GPS to get accuracy. So the images, once we have them processed, you're going to have a 3D image, and you'll be able to point it to within about 10 centimeters. I'll be able to tell you the elevation of that location.
Wow.
So that's, it's going to be.
That's great.
Can I just ask something that I'm curious at, and I'm not sure that anyone has the answers to this, but legally, can you fly over private property? And are there any barriers, or do we have any things we should be worried about because we do
Marcel, that's an exceptional question. There are actually two, I'm prepared. There are two exemptions that Transport Canada has issued for UAVs that weigh under 2 kilograms, which would be the typical Phantom that you might find at Staples. Even the one that I'm looking at, the Phantom Pro 4, is still under 2 kilograms. And there's a whole list of regulations that you have to follow in order to qualify to not have a special flight operations permit. That's SFOP, you actually have to apply for through Transport Canada to fly this thing. You have to have liability insurance, which is something that's included in this project, in order to fly these things. So a lot of people might purchase them and use them on, no. If you're using them safely for recreational purposes, you're exempted from a lot of this stuff, to my knowledge. But when you're actually using it for any type of business purposes, you have to follow these regulations. So we wouldn't be able to say, pick it up and say, oh, let's go to our campgrounds. Well, there's a bunch of campers there, fly it over and do a really cool aerial photo. No, that's not gonna happen. When the campground is completely empty and we're 100 meters away from a road and more than, I think it's 5 kilometers from an airport, there's tons of regulations. So before I even set out a plan to fly, I have to look at the aerial photographs, I have to look at the location of airports vis-a-vis, I have to look at the location of the road, other buildings. If the flight line crosses an adjacent property, I have to contact the landowners on either side. So there's a whole list. It's not, in order to do this legally. And over time, it's gonna get, well, it'll get more regulated. I think Transport Canada right now is just trying to sort of work through the details. And they're doing a great job. They have tons of material available and training courses have sort of popped up on the market, so yeah.
So I guess I know the answer to this, but something like our water festival coming up in Pinafore Park, you couldn't fly over that to get
Not over people, buildings,
like a marketing
roads.
thing and just makes, no.
People, buildings, roads, no, unfortunately not.
Steve?
Personal interest. Where do you get trained to fly such an animal? Because this is certainly, you got more than a couple $100 in here, right?
Transport Canada is more concerned with that you understand air law and the typical things that a pilot would be doing within ground school. So their regulations, their sort of knowledge requirement, which is again, another substantial document of what has to be accomplished during one of these ground schools, lists pretty much everything that a fixed wing pilot would take, mixed with a little bit of what a rotor pilot might have to accomplish. There is no set examination at this point, but they are recommending that you attain at least a 60% on an examination done by a ground school. So what's happening now is there's a few online places to conduct this type of ground school training. Fanshawe College has a program now for UAV pilots where there's actually a practical component as well. And then the one that I'll be participating in at one of the local airports has a sort of weekend-long crash course in this stuff. No,
Not crash course.
crash course. Sorry,
Crashing it.
in this type of travel, but yeah, it's unfortunately there is a lot of trial and error too.
Well, and that's, I guess that was my follow-up question was, how much practice time do you get before you get hired out? And so if I say, I have a 150 acre woodlot and I want you to do some aerial stuff for me, and how much experience do you need before you become confident enough to be able to tackle any of the kind of question?
I'll let you know in 6 months.
I think it raises a good point, though. I'm glad you're going for the training,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think we need to ensure, and back to Elizabeth, that we stay within our legal boundaries, but also that we cover ourselves so that you're protected and we're protected to make sure you aren't scanning somebody's backyard or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
I'm just saying that's not something we would be encouraging, but we want to stay out of those areas.
And that's
right?
exactly why I'm setting it up. I'm setting up the UAV operation like I would anything within my department. And
I would
follow
think
it
that
as
some
rigorous as
point,
possible, yeah.
some point in time, we probably need some policy around that to ensure that, we've covered off that you've had proper training and that. So I wouldn't mind sending that back to the policy committee that, we look at a future policy being developed to bring before the board. And that way, the staff know what to do and we have an understanding of what they can and they can't do. So
It's a good
I
recommendation.
think it's something we do and maybe you'd be participating.
I love
Because
it.
I think the legalese in that is going to be interesting. So anyway, thanks.
Certainly give that direction to staff. All right, are there further questions or comments? If not, on the motion then, all in favor? That's carried unanimously. All right,
Good luck.
that is all for our
No crash.
open session.
No pressure.
So can I get a motion that we go in camera by Max and Ralph? All in favor? That's carried. All right.